What is up, y'all? Guess we got no intro today, but I want to actually do a somewhat special video. I think it's going to be a pretty short video, maybe like 20 minutes compared to like 30, 40. But so what I really want to do is talk about the process of team building. I know for some people, team building doesn't come as naturally as for others, or maybe I just have been practicing team building for the whole time that I've played Pokemon that I've never wanted to not team build. So I really do enjoy team building, and I think it's something that you get better at with practice. So using other people's teams can be really beneficial for getting used to why you do certain things and how certain things work together. But I think getting a feel for making your own teams can be nice. So I just want to talk about like how I thought about one specific instance of a team from start to finish, and how I got from what I originally wanted to do to my final product. So something that I talked about in my last video, I think, is that when you're team building, you often start with like 1 to 4 Pokemon that you want to try out, and then kind of just go from there. So, when team building for this new season that is coming up, I knew there was a couple Pokemon that I had just been wanting to try. So, I wanted to try Naganadel. I really like Naganadel. It's a really cool Pokemon, and I think it can be really good with Life Orb. I originally wanted to try Sludge Wave, but I decided ultimately to opt for Sludge Bomb. So I guess in my original version, instead of Sludge Bomb, it would have been Sludge Wave, Dragon Pulse, Protect, Air Slash, and I just kind of felt like Tapu Lele might be a nice supporter for Naganadel, even though you can't use Sludge Wave next to Lele, so that's like an anti-synergy there. But I just thought Naganadel Lele like sounds like a good combo to me. Let's try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? But Lele is also one of those Pokemon that I think can hit really hard and works well with Focus Sash, and I just haven't really used it that much. So Naganadel Lele was one. Sorry, let me plug in my laptop. Was one combo that I know that I had been wanting to try. And then after playing some of my games with Random Gaming VGC, I knew that I wanted to try Regirock Comfey. So that was my basic idea for this team when starting, was that I knew there was 2 different modes of things that I wanted to try that I felt like can work decently well together on a team. So like Naganadel Lele, that's a mode. Regirock Comfey, that's also a mode. Regirock can get the weakness policy set off with Giga Drain. Full healing just straight keeps you alive. And so, it's one basic idea. Sometimes instead of starting with one Pokemon that you feel really good with, you're gonna start with a combo like Dragapult, Colossal, or Spectre or Metagross. Like there's in Pokemon a lot of the time there's two Pokemon that support each other really well, like Torkoal Venusaur or Torkoal Charizard. So, here was my original idea. Ganondorf, Lele, and then Regirock and Comfey, just kind of threw them together. And let's see where I took it from there. Okay, I don't actually need to move my picture. So after I had the idea of Naganadel Lele with Regirock Comfey, I realized also after playing Random Gaming, so this team is pretty inspired by Random Gaming. I wasn't actually playing, I was watching a match that he played. But he made me realize that something fun to add to this team that could make it even more deadly is Snorlax. And so I added Belly Drum Snorlax on the team because it's Belly Drum Snorlax. That also means that Psychic Terrain will be important, so something like Lele is useful, but the redirection is also going to be very important. So now that I'm thinking about Snorlax, I realize that Indeedee is pretty much just manifestly better than Lele if this is what I'm going to be trying. So, we switch off Lele for Indeedee, and Celesteela I thought synergizes well with the Sludge Wave. So if we're going to be trying to Sludge Wave, Celesteela is hopefully a pretty good back Pokemon that can also, like, if you bring it out at the very end, it's really hard to get rid of, and it can just Leech Seed your opponent and then basically just stall for the win. So, Celesteela should be a pretty good addition here, especially if Regirock has Protect, Indeedee has Protect. So all of these Sludge Wave things should work essentially, and they should work pretty well. So that's how you kind of just like fill in the end of a team, by thinking about something else you think is going to work very well with the team and give you a bit more flexibility to find a different option if you're in a scenario when you don't feel very good about it. So then this was basically the team I ended up with, right? Like Naganadel, Indeedee, Regirock, Comfey, Snorlax, Celesteela. And that leaves you a lot of options, right? Like you can do Comfey, Regirock to start with Indeedee in the back and Snorlax, or Indeedee, Naganadel. I generally think that having the extra redirection can be nice. More so for if you're starting with Snorlax, you want Indeedee. So if you're starting Snorlax, you follow me Belly Drum. Once Indeedee goes down, you bring out Comfey and just start Floral Healing spam plus Gmax Replenish. it's pretty broke. So, the team seemed to be working out pretty well. But after trying it out for, a couple matches, you get to kind of see what you're using more and what you're using less. And I noticed that on the team, not only did I have like not very good counters to fire. Actually, no, I have a good counter to fire because of Regirock. I didn't have a very amazing counter to ice. So I had Celesteela. Okay, so what am I talking about? I didn't have an amazing ground counter, is what I didn't have. So Naganadel is bad against ground. Regirock's bad against ground. Snorlax has Belly Drum, so if it takes an Earthquake, it's already going to be down really low. So I needed a ground counter, and the person that I wasn't using very much was Celesteela, unfortunately, on the team. So I was like, okay, what's something that benefits from the way that this team is already set up and can help me counter some of my weaknesses? Shell Smash Blastoise. Shell Smash Blastoise with Water Spout, Ice Beam, and Dark Pulse is very ready to come out and just, make your opponent way harder to do what they want to do. You can pretty much just flatten their team straight down to 2 Pokemon on the second turn if you get the chance with a Follow Me Shell Smash Water Spout. Yeah, you can wipe out your opponent's whole team. So I do think that Blastoise synergizes very well with this team. And even though, the Earthquake damage can be bad for Blastoise as well, I think that Blastoise works really well with the Comfey support too. So, you start with an original idea that you want, right? Like, you want to try Naganadel, you think Lele seems good with Naganadel, Then you have Regirock Comfy, that's another really consistent thing you want to try. Yeah, add on to it. You say Celesteela works good with Naganadel, Snorlax works good with being deadly, but we need redirection for that. So we add the redirection on. We realize that Celesteela is not actually being as useful on this team as we would like, so we add Blastoise. And Blastoise is fun. But the more that I've been trying this version of the team, it actually feels like I'm not using Naganadel that much. So even though I originally made this team because like I wanted to try Naganadel and Regirock, I don't think Naganadel is gonna make the cut. I don't use it, and if I do use it, it comes in at the end, does like one move, and that's fine. But like I almost never max Naganadel on this team. I feel like I always have a better option. So I do think that this team might actually end up dropping Naganadel the more that I'm trying it. And the way that I thought about what should replace Naganadel is if you look at this team, it's pretty heavily regular attack oriented. We have Regirock, who can't be intimidated, so that's nice. We have Snorlax is attack heavy. We now have Blastoise, so Blastoise is special attack heavy. But Blastoise is our very only special attack heavy person. So if we want another special attack option, we need to swap out Naganadel for something else that's also a special attack heavy. And hold on. That basically what I do in some situations like that is I think about what am I trying to cover. So if I need to deal with Landorus and things like that, having a really strong ice Pokemon with this life orb is going to be really nice. And I just know that I want a special attacker in general. So I went through and I looked at some of the people with the best special attack. Saw, obviously Spectrier could be a good option. And so if I'm going to drop Naganadel, I basically have two other Pokemon that I feel like might make really good options for this team. I think Life Orb Vanillux can be very scary for Pokemon. I think Blizzard, Hyper Voice, Protect, and if not Freeze Dry, you would want like Flash Cannon. So there's that. But I do like Freeze Dry because it's super effective on water Pokemon. So, you can straight stomp a Dracovish. But I do think, Life Orb Vanillux has literally 455 special attacks, so it's ridiculously strong. If you really feel like you need to, you can just come out the gate with a Follow Me Blizzard and just start wrecking people. Then go for a Floral Healing Blizzard. So I don't know. I actually do think Vanillux might be a really good option to add to this team, and I haven't tried it out yet, so I can't say. I also think that Spectrier might be a very good option for this team as well, where if nobody else feels good, we could, lead Indeedee, go Follow Me Will-O-Wisp, or we could just Dynamax Spectrier right off the bat and go Follow Me Shadow Ball and just start getting those Grimnay boosts and just straight take the game over. Go Indeedee, Spectrier, Comfy, Regirock or something. Like I do feel like when you look at this team, like Blastoise, Snorlax, and Regirock are not together some of the most amazing Pokemon to have in the back. So when you look at this team, you feel like you don't have amazing back options, but a lot of the time you are going to be bringing two supporters and two offensive people on this team, which you don't always want. There's certain times where if you're being forced to use like Ndidi Whimsicott, like Cinderace, Rillaboom, or something, like your team is probably there's something going wrong. Like if you're literally forced to use two supporters and two offensive, but like on certain teams that can also be useful. Um, I also, in the middle of doing these adaptions, decided to take Protect off Blastoise for Ice Beam for a little bit more coverage, since it can still Dynamax Max Protect. And I also took Protect off Regirock for Drain Punch. I couldn't sacrifice Thunder Punch because it lets you avoid Drowsy, but I don't even think Drain Punch is going to make the cut. I really like Drain Punch for when you're not Dynamaxed with Weakness Policy. The Drain Punch just, it like heals you a lot, you know? But I think having Protect can be pretty important. And well, now that we took off Naganadel and we don't have Sludge Wave, I actually think this should be fine. But that's basically the process of team building. Sorry, hold on. That's basically the process of team building. Like, you start with one idea or two ideas that you feel really comfortable with, or that you think are gonna work pretty well together, that give you like different possible options that you can choose from, that allow you different front leads that can counter what someone would use to counter the other front lead. And so yeah, like Naganadel, Lele, now Ndidi, Regirock, Comfy, and then you just think about like, if I'm gonna be using Ndidi, that means I have multiple options for deadly back leads I can do. People who benefit from Follow Me support, Snorlax, Blastoise. So you add more layers based on like what you currently have on the team allow you to get away with. Follow Me lets you get away with Shell Smash, Belly Drum. Comfy lets you get away with Floral Healing, which is even better for Belly Drum and for Shell Smash, if we're being honest. And just for one more quick example, we can look at my Guzzlord Metagross team. Like, I had this team, I actually started with one basic idea, just Spectrier Metagross, because everyone knows Spectrier Metagross is great. I actually think at this point I'm going to want to take a little bit of defense and special defense off for more attack, but that's a discussion for another day. So I started with Spectrier Metagross. I know Metagross can be really solid, and so can Spectrier, even though it seems like this Focus Sash Spectrier without Taunt or Will-O-Wisp or anything is missing a little bit because it doesn't have Taunt or Will-O-Wisp. But I started with Metagross Spectrier. I almost instantly added to that Landorus and Celesteela because I think they're both very two solid flying Pokemon that, they don't get hit by Bulldoze. Earthquake doesn't hit Celesteela, so Landorus and Celesteela do really well next to each other. Life Orb Landorus does fat damage. And Celesteela is obviously a big bulk boy who can, roll away with games and also support in the back. So, I mean, some of it comes down to just inherently knowing what Pokemon are good and what work well together, right? But like, almost instantly I was able to come up with these four just by knowing that I had Spectrier and Metagross in the first place. And then almost right after adding Landorus and Celesteela, I say to myself, okay, well, what about like some speed control, like even more speed control or something like that? Then you get Regieleki. Regieleki is stupid strong, stupid fast, and gets Electro Web, even though it's a frail boy. So Regieleki is a really good addition as well. And so, I mean, yeah, literally in like 4 minutes, I was like, okay, Metagross Spectrier, Celestial Landorus will probably be pretty good with that, and Regieleki goes pretty well with those too. So we already had 5 people right there. Then another item that I generally really like to use on my teams is Assault Vest. So after I had those 5 Pokemon, it just came down to trying out different Assault Vest users. And I do really like Guzzlord. I think Guzzlord is a very threatening Pokemon. I tried out. I wanted to bring in a water Pokemon onto this team because I don't know. Like I just thought it would be nice to have like a water Pokemon or something. Like finding just like something different than you already have can be nice in general. So I tried out Cloyster. Pretty much never got to use it. Tried out Omastar because I have actually gotten really good use from Omastar in the past. Never got to use it. And then I remembered the good old Junkabor. And I do really like this Pokemon. It's got so much health. It can be a great Assault Vest user. And it does get Heavy Slam and high horsepower, meaning that you can go +1 defense, special defense while you're Dynamaxed. Even lower your opponent's attack if you need to. And in the game where I Dynamaxed Guzzlord versus Cinderace, I mean, switching in Landorus too was amazing. Like, you switch in Landorus for the attack drops, you can use Max Wormwind, you can use Heavy, Max Steel Spike, I guess. Like, so Guzzlord is kind of just that extra thing that, if it turns out to be useful, can completely take your opponent off guard and be pretty much unstoppable. Dynamax Guzzlord in that rematch with Yusei was just literally unbeatable, and he was using like Max Knuckle over and over again, and doing like 1/6 of Guzzlord's health every time, and I was like, oh my god. It's like, you just took me from 600 health to 500 health. Oh man. So, that's the process of team building. You have one thing or two things that you feel really good about. There might be one or two other Pokemon that you also know are really solid that can kind of mesh with the team well, or that just like are really good at carrying. And then, you just find other things to fill the niche that is missing. You need to beat water Pokemon out of Regieleki. You need speed control out of Regieleki. There's obviously some Pokemon that are just inherently doing really well right now. So there's that. And why don't we watch 2 matches? Nah, actually, let's not watch these matches. I think we'll call it a video. And I'll just play some more matches to add on to that. So I hope that you found that at all useful. I feel like I did a better job explaining my thought process than explaining like specifically how certain Pokemon counter certain things. But I do hope that you were able to somewhat like learn from that thought process of like, okay, so I started with these Pokemon, like realized that I could add Snorlax, and Celesteela goes well with Naganadel, but if I do that, then I'm not gonna want Lele anymore. I want Redirection and Didi. Then it turns out that I'm like not even using Celesteela, so I bring in Blastoise. I'm not even using Naganadel, so we switch out Naganadel. But the core remains, and yeah, I just think that Pokemon is a lot about just like finding things that synergize really well together and things that give you options. So, I know for a lot of people there's certain Pokemon that you just feel good about. Like for me, Celesteela. Like I will use Celesteela any given day if I can because it's an amazing Pokemon and it's very scary for your opponents. So like when I'm considering options, I'm almost always think to myself like, okay, yeah, like is Celesteela good on this team? Is Rillaboom good on this team? Will I need Whimsicott, Raichu? So you have your certain Pokemon, right, that you like know are like go tos for a certain need. Like if you need speed control, you can Nuzzle. If you need Fake Out, Raichu's amazing for that because it's fast too. If you need weakness policy proc on a flying Pokemon, Raichu. So like certain Pokemon fill certain niches, right? And it's just a matter of you know taking advantage of what you know is going to work well in a certain scenario and work well with another Pokemon. So yeah, I hope that was easy to follow. Like I feel like I was just like pointing out what I did almost. But yeah, I hope that helped and have a good day. Y'all do look forward to a version of this team coming out because a version of this team will be coming out. So, yep, have a good one, y'all.